2, 3. We want to welcome everybody to Mom and Dad Talks. Where favorite two people are Mom and Dad. Hello, Mom and Dad.
Hello.
Hantie. How you doing, Hantie?
Doing all right.
Looks like she's looking at important mail right now. But,
Well,
today.
I was trying to separate your meeting ID from my other stuff.
Oh, okay. Well, we've got it to be very important in your Rolodex, Hantie.
Got
So,
Rolodex, huh?
yes, Hantie's got an electronic Rolodex. And
Mhm.
so
Wow.
we want to talk about, the late President Jimmy Carter.
Mhm.
You
Mm-hmm.
guys, in your heyday, he was your president.
Right. Mhm.
So tell us your thoughts about our former President Carter.
Well, personally, I always thought that he was a gentleman and a scholar. And sometimes when people get in high places, all we can do is talk about um, the negative stuff that we know, and to bring them down. But I never had that feeling when Jimmy Carter was in presidency. And I always took pride in knowing that had a honest man, a uh uh a gentleman, treated his wife kindly, and she was along with him. They were a duo, and whatever he said, she was a submissive wife. And
Mhm.
I always appreciated that. I appreciated his leadership and how he set forth a good example as to how to help people.
Mm-hmm.
My
Yeah.
thoughts on Jimmy Carter was that I gave him much respect. I liked him very much as a president of our country. The main thing that I was impressed with him with is when he left the presidency and started Habitat for Humanity. And he didn't really have to do anything but sit back and draw attention from our country. And I thought, well, you know what? That is a very thoughtful person who's going to be retired from the job that he had. And he did to me, he was an excellent president. She was an excellent first lady. I'm sorry that the country did not respect him like he should have been given respect. And I just am just impressed with his leadership for this country. And then I compare him with what is going to be coming in to be our leadership for our country, and it's a difference of night and day.
Mm-hmm. Dad, your thoughts.
My thought was I really respected him for his humility.
Mm-hmm.
He was president of the United States, but yet he was home fishing with his grandsons, and he was at home, just what cooking blueberry pancakes for his grandchildren, and just very, very down to earth. And that's something that we don't see anymore in a lot of our executives, the
Mm-hmm.
down to earth attitude. And, they're living in a very humble home. And the thing I like is that with all that prestige, he taught Sunday school every Sunday.
Wow.
Yeah. Now here's a man, he president of the United States. Here's a man that got a very good pension, and like Myrna said, he was out building houses for people that couldn't afford houses.
You know, he was in the Navy and the military, and I think that a lot of the things that people don't really understand is how do I say this, is that a very humble man that cared about people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
After he left the presidency, you can see what he was really all about. He cared about the people, making a difference for people. And you don't see a lot of presidents after they get done. I've done my service and that's it. He wasn't done servicing. He
Right.
lived a life of service,
Mhm.
and he was a humble man.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't. He tried to stay away as much out of the limelight as possible, as being a former president, and even though being criticized by a lot of people and everything like that, he just tried to live the values of Christianity that he lived, believed in. You know, And so for a lot of times, I think for a lot of people, you know, how do I say this? They talk about the values, but they
Mhm.
don't live them.
That's true.
You know what I'm saying? And I hope that people can actually live what they talk about rather than say something and not live it. And that's one thing I can take just by looking at, like I said, I was a young person when he was president,
Hmm.
and I remember people, getting a little upset when he beat Gerald Ford, and of course, people wanted him out with Reagan and stuff and talk bad about him. But like I said, at the end of the day, he tried to do the best for this country and try to live his best for the country, which we all should do for this country. And speaking of slightly changing it just a little bit there, you have any other thoughts on Jimmy Carter and the funeral that happened this week?
Well, I almost forgot that he won a Nobel Peace Prize for his peace efforts in the Middle East.
Yep, Middle East, yes.
And that was a great accomplishment because I don't know of any other president that ever got a Nobel Peace Prize
hmm
than Jimmy Carter.
I think President Obama, I think some we have to look it up, but he's one of the very few presidents to get the Nobel Peace Prize for actually trying to especially for a region that had heated generational hate, and say, hey, let's get along here. And you haven't seen those two regions really blow up since like that. You've seen the situations escalate, but not to where it was, when you guys saw the war with Egypt and Jordan and against Israel at the time frame. So it's a lot of things that I think that that you have to admire about the man. You know what I'm saying? That you want to take with you. That can I still do this after I retire?
Mhm.
He didn't have to do anything. He just sat back and fished and
He could have just sat back and got a paycheck every month.
Right.
yeah,
Retired.
And I think with the president, doesn't he get his
yeah.
uh, full
They get
amount?
they get a nice little sum of money, and he
Not
can
the
travel
same
the
as
world.
he's work. I don't think.
I think wasn't it where the president when he retires he gets his full paycheck?
Something like that.
I haven't
Yeah,
But
heard.
he
I
gets
haven't
a
heard
good
anything like
sum.
that.
he gets a nice sum.
It gets a pension probably from being president. I
Yeah.
don't know if I'm getting the same pay.
But at the end of the day, though, I will have to say this: that with all of that being said, our country is also with the wildfires in LA. We know we have family in LA. Our hearts and prayers go out to our family members as well as everybody else. A lot of people lost homes,
Mm.
and the question is what are we going to rebuild from this? I mean, because this particular fire is
Yeah,
really like
important.
devastating. I mean, Los Angeles to the point where how you're going to rebuild again.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Um,
Mm.
and there's a lot of other questions. You know what I'm saying? The water system, that's going out there and stuff like that. And the people talk about why build a desalination plant right out there. When you have that many people, there's a lot of questions. It yes.
What
Hmm.
I find very disturbing is that this is winter. And usually I look at wildfires usually starting in the fall when the
Hmm.
trees, leaves have gotten, turned and it's easy for them to catch fire. But this is winter and this city is burning like it's coming.
Like tissue paper.
Hmm.
It's like it's coming to an end. What's going to be after this fire is ceased? What are the people going to do? How are they going to rebuild? So my heart goes out to all those individuals who want to live out there in that kind of environment,
Hmm.
and hopefully that maybe they will come to wake up and say, you know what, I've got to relocate someplace that doesn't catch on fire like this.
And the thing I discovered on the news was it maybe it was the day before yesterday is that many of those homes out there, in fact, all of them, did not have fire insurance.
Wow.
Did not have fire insurance. So when they lost their home, they lost everything.
Wow.
However, one thing Biden did do,
Hmm.
he did set up a program where the government would
Hmm.
grant their loss, take care of their loss.
Oh, that's
But
nice.
insurance companies,
Well, and this is the thing about insurance companies. We won't talk too much about it. They pay for benefits,
Right.
not to take care of you, and that's the misnomer, unfortunately, about insurance companies is so whatever you sign up for, we got to read the fine print.
yes,
And unfortunately, most people say, I got insurance, it should cover this. Well, the secret's in the detail. Unfortunately, who looks at their policy in that detail to find what's covered and what's not covered? And it's, oh, it's in black and white, it's right there, you signed on it. And
Mm-hmm.
we'll talk about that another time about about insurance, having worked in the insurance industry for a long time. But
mhm.
any other final thoughts here on Jimmy Carter and LA there at this time, folks? Well, you know what? Our hearts and prayers go out to the Carter family. Even though he was over 100 years old, God blessed him with that many years of life. I think a lot of it was because he helped people.
Right.
But there's still a loss of life. You still got to deal with that. I don't care how old you are, and being a good person. And then our hearts go out and prayers go out to the Los Angeles people who are living in Los Angeles with the fires that are going on right now. So, folk, give them a shout out and prayer. Be nice today. Make a
Mhm.
difference today. Till next time, we'll see you on Mom and Dad Talk.